Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? It's me, Mr. 4K Upscaler. So on this video, I'm gonna explain to you what type of Dolby Vision picture settings do I use during the day, and then what picture settings do I use during the night. All right. And it's really not going to be that complex. It's really not going to be that difficult. I'm going to explain this really easy and in basic terms. Okay, so let's jump right into this. Let's not waste any more time. This is a last year TCL model, 55-inch, 55p 605, and it consists of Dolby Vision and HDR 10 format. Okay, and it has about 72 local dimming zones, which is pretty good. So let's jump right into this, shall we? All right, so the first thing first, as you can see, I'm using a Transformers The Last Night Dolby Vision 4K UHD Blu-ray disc via my Oppo UDP 203. And the settings that I'm using during the day are these. All right, you have to make sure when you are watching a Dolby Vision or HDR movie, you have to make sure that your TV brightness, which is your backlit, remember, your TV brightness means your backlit. You got to make sure that you squeeze as much of that peak brightness as possible in order for you to appreciate what HDR and Dolby Vision can do. Remember, high dynamic range formats, they thrive on that peak brightness and color palette. All right. In order for you to truly enjoy what the HDR and Dolby Vision can process to give it to you on this television. All right. So, but another thing you need to keep in mind, this is not a high-end premium TV. This is a budget 4K Dolby Vision TV, and I'm trying to do the best I can here to help you. I'm working with the best I can on what this TV can offer, and that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to help you. So remember, this is during the day. If you need to pause the video, pause the video. Write it down. These are the day settings, okay? During the day when it's lit up, you're in the living room, okay, and you have a bunch of lights all over the place, and you need to squeeze as much of that peak brightness as possible. So TV brightness, which is your backlit, keep it a brighter. Dolby Vision HDR picture mode, keep it a bright. So these two are very important during the day. So during the day, you need these two. These are the very important ones. So picture mode, Dolby Vision, HDR mode, keep it a bright. And your TV brightness, keep it a brighter. All right? Now, hopefully you guys have written these things down. Remember, TV brightness, which is your backlit, brighter. And your picture mode, which is your HDR mode, Dolby Vision in this case, which also applies to HDR as well, keep it bright during the day. This is during the day. And I purposely have all my lights lit up. Okay, so the next step is going to be another important part of squeezing the peak brightness out of your TV. Local dimming. This is the very important part. A lot of people have the local dimming cranked up all the way high, and they have dynamic contrast cranked up all the way high. You do not want to do this during the day. During the day, you're going to dim down your peak brightness that's needed. What local dimming does, all these local dimming zones, what they do is they try to dim down any kind of leak of light that might be showing off, especially during the night. Local dimming, it's something you want to use during the night on this TV because this TV doesn't have that high peak brightness. It's roughly maybe 800 nits. If even that, maybe 750, 780, but it's roughly around 750, 780, close to 800 nits. It doesn't go to 900, doesn't go to 1000, okay? This TV doesn't have very bright emitting peak of brightness nits. All right, so you want to make sure you turn off this local dimming off. All right, and I can show you a little demo. I can show you just what happens when you turn the local dimming on and you turn off the brighter HDR mode which is Dolby Vision, and when you turn off the TV brightness to normal. But we'll get to that later. First thing first, backlit. This is during the day, remember guys. Backlit and your contrast always has to be set like this to maximum because we are taking advantage of HDR format. This always has to be like this for HDR format. It's like a letter E, honestly. So backlit 100, brightness 50, contrast 100. So backlit maximum, contrast maximum. Sharpness, I felt 20 was good because it's a small TV, has a nice uniformity. Sharpness at 20 gives me that little nice, tiny, little touch of detail. Color, we already got a good format here, which is Dolby Vision. So color, we want to keep it at 50. Why at 50? Because remember, we already got HDR format. We're using a very good HDR format, so there's no reason for me to oversaturate the color, especially a Michael Bay movie that just, it's full of color. It's just full of color. So we want to make sure that color it's set at 50. So keep the color at 50. Color temperature, I decided to leave it on normal because I'm trying to avoid too warm and then too cool. I like to keep it, see if you keep it at too cool, it becomes too bleak. If you keep it at normal, it has a nice balance between the blue and yellow. If you keep it at warm, it becomes way too yellow. So the best thing to do is keep it at normal, so that way at normal you got a nice balance of tone of color. And you want to keep that balanced tone of color at normal. So keep everything at normal. Okay. Hopefully you guys have paused the video and you guys are writing these things down. So keep the color temperature at normal. So these are the settings I'm using during the day. All right. And this is something, once you leave it like this, you'll never have to mess with it ever again. This is something you can keep like this forever. These are pretty good balanced settings. The only thing you have to worry about, it's this right here. All right. The HDR Dolby Vision mode, brighter, and then local dimming off. And of course, your backlit has to be set at brighter during the day. But let me show you why. This is the part where you guys will understand why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. You might be confused in the beginning if you're a newcomer, if you don't understand this, but you will understand it now when I show it to you why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. Remember, this setting, it's during the day where you have everything lit up. It's sunny outside. You got this TV in the living room, okay? This is during the day, all right? And this TV doesn't have that high peak brightness, so we need to squeeze as much as we can. Otherwise, the picture's going to be too dimmed down, and you're not going to appreciate anything. So let's go ahead and let me show you one quick demo. Look at that truck. Just look how bright everything is. Look at the detail, just how bright everything is on that truck. And look right here. Look at the explosion. Everything looks very natural, right? You can see the sand blowing and all that. Now, here, let me show you what's going to happen. Right now, we have it TV brightness at brighter, and we got the Dolby Vision mode at bright. Now, look what happens when I turn off the TV brightness and leave the Dolby. When I leave TV brightness at normal and Dolby Vision at normal, I want you guys to see what's going to happen when I turn off TV brightness at normal and Dolby Vision at normal. When I set these two at normal and when I turn on my local dimming as well to high, those three things, when you set TV brightness at normal, and when you set Dolby Vision at normal, and when you set local dimming at high, I just want you to see, guys, what's going to happen. So let's go ahead and let's do that really quick, and you will see just how much of this peak brightness you're going to lose. So I'll keep it like this, and in about 3 seconds, I'm gonna go ahead and set everything to normal and local dimming set to high. 1, 2, 3. And look at this. Everything kind of looks overblown, the deep dark levels. Everything looks kind of dimmed down. This is something that could be useful during the night. During the night, this is something you can enjoy, but during the day, this is really not that bright. And remember, for the Dolby Vision and HDR format, you want to squeeze as much of that peak brightness as you can. And now look what happens when we return everything back to my original settings for the brighter for the brighter backlit and brighter Dolby Vision, and turning the local dimming off. So remember, we're turning local dimming off now, and we're setting the Dolby Vision brighter and backlit brighter. And look what happens in about 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And look what we got here. We got much brighter picture. You get to see the detail much better. You get to see the stuff in the background much better. You get to see that police car in the background much better. The detail on the rusted truck, pickup truck, you get to see. So now we're getting that necessary peak brightness during the day for the Dolby Vision and HDR format. And this is what it's all about, guys. It's about you getting that, squeezing that peak brightness from this TV. What I'm trying to teach you here, I'm trying to teach you guys that for this TV, remember, this is not a high-end premium TV. This is a mediocre peak brightness, and I'm trying to give you guys my best possible preference recommendation for you to squeeze as much as you can from this TV. What I'm basically doing is, it's like a toothpaste. I'm trying to squeeze as much as I can from that toothpaste, what I can offer. It's a tiny little toothpaste, but I'm trying to squeeze as much as I can. I know it's a crappy analogy, but that's what I'm pretty much doing here. I'm trying to squeeze as much as I can of that peak brightness for you guys on this TV. Or maybe we can choose another scene really quick. I can show you that difference here as well. So remember, this right here, it's during the day. Okay, this is during the day when everything's lit up. This is during the day. This is what you want to have. You want to keep that TV brightness of backlit brighter. You want to keep that Dolby Vision mode bright. And of course, you want to turn off that local dimming. Turn that dynamic contrast off and turn off that local dimming. This is during the day. During the night, you can keep everything at normal. And you can keep the local dimming set to high during the night. So that way you don't see any bleeding light on the edges. Now you cannot see them because it's during the day. But during the night, you can turn the local dimming high. Okay? But during the day, you don't want to do that because the TV will be too dark and you won't be able to see anything. And I see a lot of people do that, and that's a mistake. And everything I show you here, remember guys, everything I do here, everything I show you, you can test. Everything I do here, everything I did here, you guys can test it. You can do a test for yourself, and you can see for yourself, oh, wait a minute. I see what he's talking about. So there's nothing I'm doing here that is trying to BS or trying to, manipulate or anything like that. I'm doing this to help you guys. So everything I just did here, grab a pen, grab a sheet of paper, write it down, and test it yourself. But you got to remember, you got to have this TV in order to do so. All right. So let me show you one more example, one more video really quick, one more still, if you will. And here's another great example right here. Okay. This is what it's all about. It's you want to get as much of that detail possible. Like this is what Dolby Vision needs. Dolby Vision needs that peak brightness. It needs to, both these HDR formats, they thrive on a couple of things. They thrive on higher peak brightness of nits emitting light, and they thrive on that full wide color gamut of palette, which is the 10-bit in this case. But Dolby Vision can go higher. Dolby Vision can go 12-bit. It's a 12-bit ready. It's compressed from 12-bit into a 10-bit here. So I'm going to do one more test here. I'm going to show you. Okay, like for example right here. I want you to keep an eye, like right now we have it at brighter, and the bright and the local dimming, it's turned off. And I want you guys to pay attention what's going to happen to this picture once we go ahead and once we turn off those settings and keep everything at normal. And you will see just how much you're going to lose by keeping everything at normal and moving that local dimming to high. You're going to see just how much of this brightness and vividness you're going to lose. So let me show you in about a couple of seconds. 1, 2. And look, it just looks awful. Like the deep dark levels are overblown. It just doesn't look that good. It's not bright enough. So this is something you want to avoid, okay? So you see, you don't want to do this. This is what you don't want to do. Now I want you to pay attention what's going to happen once I switch everything back to brighter backlit, and when I set everything to bright on Dolby Vision. So let's set Dolby Vision bright, and let's set TV brightness brighter, and let's turn off the local dimming, and you will see what's going to happen in a minute. Pay attention to this right here. So I want you to pay attention to everything here really quick in about 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And look at this. It's like night and day. Everything's brighter. You can see everything clearly. You get more detail. You can see the smoke here from the rocket that flew by, and then it's just too much detail. Now you're seeing. Now you're seeing what you're supposed to be seeing on a movie like this, on The Last Night, Transformers. And I think Transformers: The Last Night is the best demo that you can use for Dolby Vision. Even though there's plenty of other Dolby Vision movies out there, Saving Private Ryan, it's you have to remember, it's an old movie. It was recorded in a 35 millimeter. It has a little bit of grain because they want to keep that movie style. But I will do that video. That video will be done soon. Okay, I'm working on that. To me, Saving Private Ryan, it's best viewed on a projector, on a big projector. And of course, it's the audiophile dream. That movie, it's the best Dolby Atmos you're going to get. All right. But we'll talk about that when we do the review on that as well. But for right now, I'm trying to help you guys. For those of you who have TCL P55605, P605 last year model, which is this one, 55-inch P605. This is for you guys. I'm trying to help you. So remember, there's 2 different types of picture settings. You want to use local dimming at high when you are watching at night. During the day, you want to turn off that local dimming, okay? Because you're trying to squeeze as much of peak brightness as possible. So that's the whole point. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, and I can show it to you right here, even without me like editing here. You can see it in real time, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. And I'll bring my camera a little bit closer, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. You see, everything becomes brighter. Now it becomes normal. It's not good. And when we go to the advanced picture settings, local dimming set to high. So you see right now, local dimming, everything is more dimmed down. When you turn it off, you see what happens? Look. You see how much brightness you get here on a Dolby Vision when you turn the local dimming off. Local dimming, it's only there for the night viewing, all right? That's the whole reason why it's there. Here, let me show you this one more time. Okay, let me go to the local contrast. Let's click on it. And hold on. Advanced picture settings. I want you to pay attention. You see? You see how brighter it becomes? You see, like right here? I think this speaks for itself. You can clearly see my finger there? You see how it brighter becomes when you turn it off? and how dimmed down it becomes when you turn it on. This happens because it's dimming down that bleeding light. So local dimming, it's something you use only during the night. You don't use this during the day. During the day, you turn the sucker off, okay? You see how much detail you get here when you turn it. See how much detail you get when you turn it off? That's a lot of detail right there. Here, maybe I'll show it to you like this, a little bit better. Here. You see how much detail we get here. Look right here. That's plenty of detail you're getting here. Much brighter detail necessary for Dolby Vision. Okay? So hopefully you guys now are getting some sort of like understanding as to why I do it the way I do it. So remember, there's two types of settings here. We got one type of setting, which is for the day, during the day, and then we got the second one, which is during the night. So hopefully you guys have written all these settings down. Remember, I do this for you, and everything that I did here, it's something you can test. You know, there is nothing that I said here that it's misleading or that it's being false. Everything I told you here, it's helpful information. I'm helping you so you can squeeze the best possible picture out of your HDR format. And you can test everything I just did here. If you have this TV, remember, you gotta have this TV. If you have this TV, which I'm pretty sure most of you do, you can test everything I just did. You can pause the video, grab a pen and a sheet of paper, write these settings down, and you can test everything I just did here. So there's nothing that I said here that it's inaccurate. Everything it's accurate here. You can test it. You can try it yourself. So that way you know that I'm not BSing. I'm actually helping you out. All right. So there you have it. Thank you for watching. Enjoy. Take care.